Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we're going to do two main things. We're going to add the user registration routes, new and create, and then we're going to add the user registration form. So inside of our app.js, I'm just going to make a section for routes. So we've got our index, we've got our account route, and now we want some more. We want sign up, we'll call it. Sign up new, sign up create. So the sign up routes are going to follow RESTful routing conventions like always, app.get/signup. It's going to be request response. And this is going to show the form, res.render, sign up, we'll call it. And then sign up create, app.post/signup, request response, and then I'm just going to res.send sign up post for now. Save that, should not be a problem. Let's go ahead and go to the sign up and make sure that one works. /sign up. Yep, except that there's no sign up in the views directory, so let's make that real quick. Touch views/signup.ejs. So sign up. This is going to be a form. Form action equals sign up method. Oops, I gotta put that in quotes. /sign up method equals post. And then we're just going to have 3 inputs and a button because we need to get an email, a username, and a password. So input type equals text, name equals email, placeholder equals email address. I'm going to duplicate that. Name is going to be username. Placeholder will be username. And you could just use email for username or anything else. Password. Then we just need a button to submit. Button type equals submit. Or I'll put sign up to make it a little bit more clear what they're doing. And now let's no daemon again and go to this and see if it works. Refresh our page, it's right there. Let's try and submit this, sign up, and the sign up post route was hit. I need to change this type to email. There we go. And theoretically, you would make all these required because you need all 3 of those things to make an account, we'll say. All right, so now let's go back into our routes. We're done with signup.ejs. Let's go into our routes and our create routes. So instead of just responding with this, we're actually going to do a thing. So first off, we need to make this an async function because we are going to be interacting with the database asynchronously. So do our try-catch loop, try-catch functions, passing error. So if there's an error, we just want to console.log the error and res.send the error. Sure, whatever. And now on to the fun part. Const new user equals await user not .create but .register. This is different because we're not using the traditional mongoose thing model.create. We are using the one added by this user schema plugin. This adds additional functionality to our model, including the .register. Now the way that the .register works, it's a method, and you pass in a new user. So we have to pass in a new user, which takes a object. And just for clarity's sake, I'm going to put that object down here on a different line like that. And it takes username and email. Username is going to be request.body.username. Email is going to be request.body.email. Now notice we are not passing in the password here. We are not putting the password inside of here. The password will be added as the second argument on here. At this point, people start getting confused with all the different curly brackets and the parentheses and things like that. So this one right here goes to the user. Notice that it's here to here. That's the user that we are passing in. So user.register, the first thing is a new user. The second thing is your password. Request.body.password. If I wanted to, and I think I will, I'll go ahead and put this down here on another line just to kind of show that this is one thing. All this is one thing, and this is another thing. I could just put that down. I don't know why Gorm is so screwy with its indentation. And really, I could do it. I wonder if this would be even more clear. Oops. To do it like this. Would that be more clear? Because there's the user right there as the first argument. Anyway, there's a lot of different ways you could format this. I'm going to leave it like this because it makes the most sense to me now that I'm looking at it. But you could also stick this all in one line if you wanted. It's just the whole indentation with parentheses inside of parentheses inside of parentheses inside of curly brackets, all that crap. So just if you're likely going to have a syntax error at some point in here, so just deal with it and realize that, hey, it's kind of par for the course. Don't feel bad about it. So we're trying that, and then if it works, we'll get back a new user because we're setting that constant right there. So if it works, I want to console.log that new user just so I can see it. And then we are going to log that user in. Okay, because right now we're creating a user, but as part of that, you want to go ahead and log in as that user. So to log in, you do passport.authenticate, passing in whatever strategy you are using. We're using the local strategy. And then you call that as a function. It's weird, I know. Request response, and then you pass in another function. Functions inside of functions inside of functions. Lots of fun. Response.redirect, just back to account, because I want to see the account page. Now, this is very confusing the first couple times you do it. As you get more practice with it, it will make more sense, and you'll be able to do it quickly and easily, and you'll get done with it, and you'll get used to it. But I know this is confusing, okay? Don't worry if you're a little bit confused. That's fine, that's normal. Take your time, look at it, try it, build the thing. There are 3 steps to this. The first step is to create the user. That is using user.register. User is the model that we are importing up here at the top. User is the model. Where is it? There it is. And then we're using the register method on that, passing into that method 2 arguments. We're passing in first a new user, and then we are passing in the password. The reason that we are passing the password in second is because it is going to be hashed before it is passed in. I need to fix that typo. It is going to be hashed before it is passed into the database, before it's saved to the database. So the user.register has that whole hashing thing built into it, so that it will hash that and then save it to the database. So it'll hash it first, then push it onto this user thing, and then register that whole thing on the database. So let's save this, see if I made any typo or syntax errors. Looks like I didn't yet. So let's refresh this page. Email address will be test@test.com. Username will be test. Password will be test. And I should have made that a password field, but who cares? All right, we got an error. Let's see what I did wrong. Cannot read property username of undefined. Did I not set up body parser? I didn't. I didn't use body parser because I'm a dum-dum. App.use body parser.url encoded passing in extended true. This is just boilerplate. You'll memorize it. I promise I did. So save. Wait for my server to refresh. App.use or app.use. There we go. So let's go back, refresh this page. Test@test.com, test username, test password, sign up. A user with a given username is already registered. Okay, well that means that the first one went through without a problem. Let's do it again. Test2@test test2.com, test2, test2, and sign up. All right, so now we got these users. Let's see. Here's the most recent one we did. You can see here, this is kind of the format of that user. You have a username test2, you have an email, you have the salt, and then you have the hash. If you remember from the previous videos on salt and hash, I told you this is what it's going to look like. This is what it looks like. So inside of here, we are logging in as that user, and there is the account page. So after it got done, it authenticated me here. And then we pass in the callback function, basically request response callback, and this callback is whatever we're going to do. If we wanted to, we could console.log something. We could do other things inside of this callback, but basically what it does is after it authenticates, it will call this. This is just some middleware. And one more thing I wanted to show you is that we now, because we are logged in, it's difficult to test this right now, but right now we do have a session cookie. If I pull up my console and I look at application, you got all the different things. It depends on if you're using a different browser, it might look different. But in Chrome, you go to Application, then you come over here to Cookies, and you expand that, and you can see that I now have a cookie from my Gorm IDE. And right now, it looks like I have several cookies. Some of them are put there by Gorm. You can see these bottom 5 are put there by Gorm, but this one was put there by our domain. This is the session cookie. This is the cookie that was created by Passport and Express Session and stuck inside of our cookies to have it so that we remain logged in. Note that all this cookie stores is just the session ID. So if I expand this, you'll see that it's not too terribly long. This is just the session ID. It doesn't actually store any data other than the session ID. All the data inside of our session is stored on the server side. In this video, we set up the user registration form, and then we set up the user registration routes. The first one was super easy because all we're doing is rendering a sign-up page. The second one was a little bit more confusing because we had to use some of the new syntax that we're not used to. We're still using async await just like normal. We're still creating a constant from that, but instead of user.create, we used user.register. The requirements for that are 2 arguments. The first one is a new user, which we're creating like normal, where user is username and email using request.body. And the second argument is the password. The reason we have to pass the password in second is because it hashes it. You'll notice that the password, my password was test, and it came out to be this giant hash with this salt as well. So that is what's stored in the database. We don't actually store the password. And then after we created that user, we logged in as that user, passport.authenticate local, and then this callback function was called. So after we authenticated, we redirected to /account. In the next video, we're going to set up the login routes and forms so that you don't have to create a new user account every time you want to log in. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thanks.